Very interesting conversation.
There's so much of concern about market being, at a high level. Stocks are expensive. NBFCs are through the roof, and hence it's the time to take the money out and go for retirement types. Like a lot of guys are making a very permanent type of call and all. I've never seen this kind of and product. I mean, markets have done so well, and all the products, mutual fund products and all, they're all-time high. And this is a redemption because of high performance. I mean, I understand redemption because of non-performance. But this is a time when people are pulling out from the market because market has done very well. They're scared of, repeat of 2008. People are scared of 2008 and all. But at current market cap of, say, 72, 73% to GDP, I mean, always market can correct by 10-15%. But I don't see any kind of crash or big thing happening here. So that fear right now, at least domestic investors are kind of very happy that they've made money.
What is the sense you are getting? Do we break out of this long period of consolidation on the upside or on the downside, and why?
Well, if you look at our earnings growth phases over the last 25 years, the CAGR over this period always works to be 13 to 15%. But you typically get 5 years of 25% and 5 years of 0 to 5% growth. I think we have overlived this period of less than 5% growth for the last 7 years. We may be off by a quarter or two, right? But I think you can definitely start sensing that strong double-digit growth is just lying ahead.
Actually, year to date, State Bank has delivered a higher return than HDFC Bank in terms of stock returns only. So would you now look at the economy-facing sectors with a slightly different eye? Would you look at sectors that normally don't come in your Focus 25 or your Focus 35? Would you look at state-owned banks, for instance?
I mean, incidentally, just to put the records right, we have State Bank of India, and all the way from the top to bottom, we stay down. So we have suffered with State Bank's fluctuations. So State Bank is a very different case. I mean, it is 24-25% of the entire banking system. I mean, it's such a big rock. Howsoever hard you push, it will not go down.
Naveen, what is your sense about consumption companies which are at the moment second rung? I mean, you have the Asian Paints and you have the Page Industries. Would you rather put incremental money in these consistent 10-year stories or in stories that will be the next 10 years?
Basically, in India, most of the consumption categories are highly underpenetrated, which is the story for, let's say, the leaders. So, for instance, Asian Paints in paints, or United Breweries in brewing, United Spirits in alcoholic beverages, and so on and so forth. But you're absolutely right. While these companies will surely continue to do well and exploit their leadership position as we close the penetration gap, I think there are many interesting discretionary consumption categories that are now emerging, which can potentially do exceedingly well.
Question that you avoided or moved on Infosys IT, because now that it's not as loved as it was, say, last year, and so that's reflected in the conference. But your personal call, do you think it's now offering a good entry point?
The competitive advantage of India in the tech field cannot be still undermined. Okay. Now it is also impacted by whatever is happening within the industry, but the global economy is in slow mode. And BFSI space, which was one of the largest client base, they have, after 2007, they've been suffering big time. I mean, one bank or others, something other collapses, and they're very large clients of these guys. So clearly that is posing its own challenge. Second is the kind of a new technological development, digitization, that's opening opportunity, as well as it is cannibalizing the older models. So where does it stand? I mean, it's an open question in the sense that 10-12% growth, they're still not denying. 10-12% dollar growth is not bad. There are very few companies in India which are talking about 10-12% volume growth to have such high quality franchise with a high cash flow, transparency, high payouts. So, I mean, I think Infosys is sub 15 times 2018.
One more speaker would be Rajiv Bajaj from Bajaj Auto, and at Motilal Oswal, you've always liked two-wheeler companies. It started with Hero MotoCorp, which of course was always an iconic investment for you, Eicher Motors, and now of course Bajaj Auto as well. The big question is, among these three, which ones do you think the investors would end up making most money over the next 5 years or 10 years?
Actually, what's ended up happening is very interesting in the two-wheeler sector. While two-wheeler can be generic as one single thing, each company has ended up carving out some niche for themselves. And the moats are so invincible. So for instance, in the premium bikes, Royal Enfield has it hands down. And it's almost impossible to beat them. As far as the export side is concerned, while Hero is trying hard to get into that segment, Bajaj Auto is so firmly entrenched, although the global slowdown and country-specific issues are impacting their own exports, but Bajaj has a very deep moat as far as that business is concerned.
Which pharma company will you pick?
We have Sun Pharma, we have Lupin, we have Ajanta Pharma. So I think pharma industry again, I think it is very untapped opportunity. I think still a lot of growth is ahead. We had some issues with the FDA inspections and all, but I think a lot of relief is there in last 4-5 months, 6 months. A lot of relief is there.
Okay, you'll of